Against Wolves, against Wolverhampton last night, most Arsenal fans, let me say all Arsenal fans, most Arsenal fans were busy calling on their ancestors. They were busy calling on their ancestors last night. Some churchgoers were busy shouting fire, fire, fire from every angle against Wolves because honestly, Wolves came to spoil show for Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. They came to spoil show. They gave Arsenal a run for their money. Honestly, at some points, I started feeling for Arsenal. I felt for Arsenal because they needed to win that match. They needed to win that match. Dropping that points, that three maximum points at the Emirates Stadium, honestly, they don't need that. They don't need that. They get pushing, pushing. But you know, if you're playing, when you're playing against these low-rated teams, let me not say low-rated teams, these struggling teams, in the English Premier League, you have to be very careful, especially when the team knows that you need the points from them. You see them are coming. Wolves recent matches, if you watch the recent matches, you understand that they are not doing well or they're just languishing in the relegation zone. And they want to prove a point. They want that's a precious 1 point because they know they will not win Arsenal, but they needed to try to see if they can get a point at the Emirates Stadium. They kept pushing, sat back. That was anti-football. Honestly, I call it anti-football because they sat back, absorbing the pressure from Arsenal, waiting on counter-attack, understand? But then Arsenal pressed, kept pushing, but the resolute Wolves defenders said no. You can imagine how in that game Arsenal couldn't score their own goal. They couldn't even score. They say Arsenal player scored. Wolves scored the 3 goals. 2 own goals and the one inside the score against Arsenal through Tolu Arukodare. So you can see that Wolves were determined to get a point because a point will be so precious for them going in standard, leaving the Emirates Stadium. But I think that 3 points in standard was so precious for Arsenal. They need that 3 points, that maximum 3 points at standard against Wolves. That's to show you that Arsenal, that's a spirit of a team that wants to win. A spirit of a team that wants to compete strong in the English Premier League. Wolves scored, I think, in the 92nd minutes of that particular encounter, Wolves equalized. Then Arsenal, the spirit of that title contender, they kept pushing. Then Bukayo Saka did his magic. Gabriel Jesus, so I think that is why Arsenal needs him. That is why Arsenal need Gabriel Jesus because as a striker, he wouldn't allow defenders to rest as a striker. So it was a precious point for Arsenal, precious 3 points because they needed not to draw that match. Now, City won against Crystal Palace convincingly 3-0. That's to show that Arsenal don't need to slow their pace. They don't need to slow. They need to win their games. Keep winning. Remember, Aston Villa is there with 34 points. They are Aston Villa still pushing. Aston Villa have won 9 consecutive games in all competitions.